It's Saturday, April 6th, and we happen to have sunshine today. And as I came into the park, I decided to do some recordings of various locations in the park since the sun is out. And it is roughly 3:30 in the afternoon. This will give you an idea of where the sun is and some of the good spots for viewing in the park. For my route through the park, I exited off of I-65 onto 71st Street and entered the park through the 71st Street or North Gate. From there, I headed south on Eagle Creek Parkway. And this is a sharp curve you'll see in the video. We call this little area Fisherman's Cove, although that's not marked on the map. Here is Picnic Area 5, and I take a turn onto Walnut Point Road and DeLong Road and stop by the Earth Discovery Center area. From there, I head back down to the Marina and then back out Walnut Point Road and continue on Eagle Creek Parkway south. So basically I just do a big loop of the park, head on to Eagle Beach Drive and that area, so this is also called the swimming area, back on to Eagle Creek Parkway. Here is the South Gate and 56th Street. So if you're entering from the south end of the park, this would be the gate you come in. There's a small parking area here at the intersection of Eagle Creek Parkway and Parkway East Drive. So in my loop through the park, I take Parkway East Drive around past the Mount Pleasant picnic area and shelters, and along this area here, paralleling the Spring Pond Nature Preserve. Here's the road that goes to maintenance, and I take this little connector road to Circle Drive, shelters D, C, and B. Once I go past shelter B, I take 65th Street back down. So I've made almost a complete circle of the park, but I take one more loop around here onto Lilly Lake Drive to stop by that area and the Lilly Lake shelter, and loop back around with a little look at shelter A. Lots of parking here around shelter A, and then back around to 65th Street. And finally, we wrap up at the Ornithology Center. From the Ornithology Center, you will see a view of this area here. So this is what we call the Coffer Dam Trail, part of the Blue Trail. And there is no parking down here, but at 1 o'clock, the Ornithology Center will be leading a hike down to this area. So this is all of the main park general parking. If you signed up for Eagle's Crest parking, that is over on the other side of the reservoir, so it does not show up on this map at all. There is no way to hike between the two areas without going up and around or down and around the entire reservoir, so there is no connection here. So here's a quick look at the west side, and here is Lafayette Road. If you're coming northbound after you get off I-65 up Lafayette Road, you take a left on Traders Lane. Here's the Starling Sanctuary. You'll go down Wilson Road, and at this little stop sign, take a left onto Fishback Road, and here's the entrance to Eagle's Crest. So there is a paved ADA trail here, lots of open soccer fields, and then the nature preserve back here, and then over across the reservoir, over here, is the other main section of Eagle Creek Park. Here we are coming off the northbound I-65 exit onto 71st Street. You can see the northbound entrance back onto I-65 is under construction right now. To get to Eagle Creek Park, I need to make a left-hand turn here. And on my right, you'll see the exit ramp from I-65 southbound. So if you're coming from Lafayette or Purdue, this is where you will be entering Eagle Creek Park. So this is the north gate, or the 71st Street entrance into the park. And we're coming up to the gatehouse here. Thank you. You too.
I'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.
So here is some 71st Street parking. This is not a big area, so it will fill up pretty quickly. Intersection, if you go right, you will be at the Ornithology Center. If you go left, you will end up at the shelters and Lilly Lake. So from here, the road is going to wind around quite a bit. I'm headed to the Earth Discovery Center this morning. So it's a really pretty drive, especially this time of year. The speed limit in the park is 20 miles per hour. It'll be a little hard when you're on a quick downhill slope, but we'll try and stick to it. Lilly Lake is on my left here. There is a tiny parking spot for it over here on the right, but there is more parking for Lilly Lake deeper in the park. Fisherman's Cove. Hopefully I'm getting that. I'm watching where I'm driving. Where you can see the reservoir really close. There's not a lot of parking by Fisherman's Cove, so this is an area you would need to hike to, but it does have some really pretty views. And we're still winding around on Eagle Creek Parkway. This is the main thoroughfare through the park, so it runs north and south through Eagle Creek Park, although as you can see, not in a straight line. Coming up ahead on the left is Picnic Area 5. So there are some portalettes, a gravel parking lot, and a playground, and also some nice grassy areas, so this would be a good spot to watch the eclipse. And this is the turn to the Earth Discovery Center and the Marina. So Walnut Point Road, if you go straight down to the end, you will be at the Marina. So this is a point that goes out into the reservoir and has views and limited parking, so there are a few spaces there. We'll probably fill up pretty early, I'm anticipating. Before you get to the end of Walnut Point Road, if you take your first left here onto DeLong Road, this is the route to the Earth Discovery Center. You'll pass by the parking lot for the Peace Learning Center. They are a park partner and will have their own event going on Monday. And then if you go to the end of this little drive here, watching out for pedestrians and their lovely doggies there, you'll end up at the Earth Discovery Center. So this is my home base. So we are a nature center. We have a parking area back here. This is also the home base for the Go Ape zip line. That's that little brown cabin at the back. They will not be operating the zip lines on Monday, but they're worth checking out if you like adventure in the treetops. It's really fun. And the views here are quite nice. So you can see the back area has a reservoir. There's a deck on the back of the Earth Discovery Center. And then there's a boat ramp and a portalet here. If you get here before the building is open, there's a portalet in the parking lot and a boat ramp that goes to a small dock in the water. So this is also where you could launch a canoe or kayak. It is a little bit of a slog to get down and up that old boat ramp. So you can't drive cars up and down it. You have to carry your boats up and down. So I recommend a wheeled carrier of some sort. Here is the boat ramp access to the reservoir behind the Earth Discovery Center. So this is really our only shoreline access, but there is a dock at the base of the boat ramp that has some nice views. The sun at around 3 o'clock is up here a little bit through the trees. There's a nice little open grassy area here, and down by the water you would have a very nice view. Here we are on the back deck of the Earth Discovery Center, and it's a little after 3, so this will be what the view is like for totality on Monday. So the sun way up there in the sky. Hopefully we have exactly this kind of clear weather for Monday. Here's the Go Ape zip line by the Earth Discovery Center. Again, they won't be operating on Monday. Behind it is a nice open grassy field and lots of space to spread out and have a great view. Continuing on Walnut Point Road down to the Marina. Limited parking, but there are some spots down here, and this is where boat rentals would be if they were open. It's still too early in the season for rentals, but there is a canoe kayak launch if you have your own boat. Exited Walnut Point Road and continuing south on Eagle Creek Parkway. Towards the south end of the park. swimming area and is our area with the most parking spaces. So quite a bit of parking. This is the upper lot. Got some lower lots here. Swimming is not yet open for the season, but there is plenty of open space here along the shoreline, and you should have a really great view. So the beach swimming area has a very large shelter, playground, and a lot of open sky access here by the reservoir. And it is a little after 3, so right up here is where the sun will be on Monday during totality. Back out to Eagle Creek Parkway from Eagle Beach Drive. You might notice some signs for the solar system hike. If you follow it backwards, that will lead you to the Earth Discovery Center along the trails. Just ahead is the 56th Street Gatehouse. So if you're entering from 56th Street from the south gate, this is where you'll be coming in. I'm going to head on to Parkway East Drive. And loop around the east side of the park. So this is away from the shoreline. To find a quieter spot away from the crowds, this might be a good option. There isn't a lot of parking in this section. But there are lots of wide open grassy spaces. Straight ahead are the Mount Pleasant picnic shelters. Just next to them, we have all this wide grassy area. It is probably pretty soggy. Yeah, I see standing water and puddles. Please don't try to park on it, but there should be dry areas if you want to spread out and watch the eclipse. You'd have a good view from here. Back here, this is a wetland mitigation area. It's probably still a little hot, soggy on a lot of the trails, but if you have some boots and want to hike back into these areas, there may be some frogs calling on Monday with the warmer temperatures. Oh, yeah, here they are. Even though it's cooler today. We have some cricket frogs calling from the vernal ponds. forested in this section, so fun to hike along, but maybe not the best spot to view the eclipse, although I can still see the sun pretty well right over the treetops. To the maintenance barn, and at my next intersection here I'm going to head on to Circle Drive. This is where shelters C and D are located. And there are several ways to get here. This section of the park can be a little confusing. Spring pond flooded into the road a little bit, and there's the cricket frogs calling. We've got shelter D just up ahead. Shelter C is on the other side of Circle Drive, so this is a big circle, roughly a mile. And if you're in the middle of the grass, there's again a lot of open space here. You can see the sun over the treetops this time in the afternoon. It is pretty soggy though. We've had a lot of rain, so lots of puddles and marshy spots in the grass, but there should be some drier upland parts. So there is shelter D, or sorry, shelter C. And I'm going to take a left here past shelter B. So shelters A and B are in more forested areas. There is a playground across the road from shelter B, so if that's something you're looking for. But even here, with all the forest, I still have a view of the sun through some of the gaps in the trees. So from here, I'm going to head out to Lilly Lake, and there are a couple ways to get there, and it can be a little confusing in this section of the park. To 65th Street. If I go straight and across Eagle Creek Parkway, I'll meet up with the Ornithology Center. So straight ahead is the main road through the park, Eagle Creek Parkway. But before I get there, take a left and head to Lilly Lake. And this north area is one of the more heavily forested sections of the park. But since the trees have not leafed out, even now in this area I have actually a perfectly good view of the sun here from the road. Right on my right is the parking area for the fitness trail, so that has some exercise equipment and activities to do along there. I'm going to take a left onto Lilly Lake Drive. this road here, you can actually park in the left lane. So the right lane stays open for traffic. You can park in the left lane, and then there is a little lot over here. I will just pull over in the left lane today. Alright, so here's a better view of the Lilly Lake parking lot, and then there is an octagon shelter and fairly forested here, but once we get out past this sidewalk, we have a big open grassy slope. So all along the slope here, and the trail around Lilly Lake, and there's the sun a little about 3:30 in the afternoon, so lots of good open views. Here we are at Shelter A. Also a lot of trees, but plenty of open space to find a view of the sun. So right now, with the sun high up in the sky, there are plenty of spots where you can see it. Alright, I've looped around from Lilly Lake back to 65th Street, and now I'm heading to the Ornithology Center. The Ornithology Center is pretty heavily forested. But it's a really fun spot to visit. You have some live birds of prey and an exhibit hall with taxidermy birds and displays. Here at the Ornithology Center, and there are some lovely pine trees here that block a lot of the sun, but if you walk in front of the building, there is some open space, and out by the bird feeders you can get a good view of the sky. Alright, the Ornithology Center has one of the best nature views. And at 1 o'clock, staff will be leading a hike out to this little land bridge here. So we call this the Coffer Dam. It's part of the Blue Trail. And you'll be right in the middle of the reservoir out there with great views of the sun. So from the deck, this big pine tree blocks the sun. But if you don't mind about a mile hike to get out there, that land bridge, the Coffer Dam, will also be an excellent spot to watch the solar eclipse. That was a quick tour of Eagle Creek Park. I hope everyone has safe travels and clear skies on Monday. If you're coming to the park, we're looking forward to seeing you.